What are the benefits of mediation over litigation? Mediation is actually just a step in litigation. I prefer negotiation. Mediation is just a type of negotiating where you'll be in one room, the other side will be in the other room. A neutral party who doesn't technically have to be, but needs to be a lawyer, basically walks back and forth, and that person's called the mediator, and they're trying to basically get y'all to do a deal. And it's kind of an all-day process. Mediation's great, and it's a great place to settle, but it's required in almost every court in Texas prior to going to trial. You have to try and settle it because the judges don't want you in their courtroom. They want you to figure this out without having to have a trial and involve them. The only time that they want to be involved is like, you did your best and we just could not get there some kind of a way, and so we have to have the judge decide, which, by the way, is bad. It's not what you want. Mediation is great. I love mediation. We get almost all of our cases settled in mediation if we haven't settled them before, but the vast number of our cases settle before mediation through negotiation, because even at mediation, it's just a great big negotiation. Do not even consider going to a mediation without a lawyer. The mediator does not represent either side. Their job is to get a deal done, whether it's a good deal for you or not. They're just trying to get the deal done. So if you go to mediation, how do you choose the right mediator? Reputation and experience and people that you've gone to before. What you're looking for in a mediator is somebody who's going to get the case settled, and somebody that's going to do it in a way that doesn't freak your client out or freak you out if you are the client. Sometimes you need a mediator that's going to beat on you and just be hard and like firm with you. Other times you need a mediator that's just going to be able to listen and be very delicate with you and be very gentle. How do you prepare for mediation? Sometimes by putting on pants and showing up. Other times it's by being ready to try the case to completion perfectly. For high net worth, your budget is going to be inconsequential. As a percentage of your estate, it's going to be minuscule. So a lot of times it's like, do what's necessary in order to do. You have to have that conversation with your attorney, and a good attorney will be able to line out and tell you, here's what needs to be done. Here's what we predict the costs are going to be. Here's kind of what the range is. And this is what we can predict now. By the way, what the other side does is going to affect how much that stuff costs and the things that we have to respond to. Having something called an inventory and appraisement is almost always required. And basically we have a property division spreadsheet. An inventory is a list, and appraisement is the values. And so by having that put on a spreadsheet, then we know what we're dealing with and what we're going to kind of horse trade back and forth for who takes what. Have some sort of tax analysis done, because your cost basis in a lot of your investments are going to be important. Because if you've got capital gains that have to be paid and you're trying to do things dollar for dollar, which a lot of attorneys will do and a lot of inexperienced attorneys do, which is why if you're a high net worth, who your attorney is makes a big difference. You need somebody that's experienced and knows and takes this stuff into consideration, because you'd be surprised how many attorneys just completely disregard it. You need to know where you're going to be paying all your taxes from to know, oh, wow, we thought this was a 50-50 division, and I've got $10 million and they've got $10 million, but I've got $1 million worth of capital gains taxes and then another $3 million worth of ordinary income taxes that I'm going to have to pay. So really, they're walking away with $10 million. I'm walking away with $6 million. But also, if you have children, having proposals for a custody agreement of what it is that you want and have it written out. The more that you have planned, and for example, I almost always bring a draft of a final decree of divorce, because what happens in mediation a lot is they get a mediated settlement agreement. It's like bullet points, your highlights, these are the terms, and then you sign that and you're bound, and then you have to go back to the office, and then one of the two attorneys takes a week or two and drafts up the agreement. I take a final decree to the mediation and go, the mediated settlement agreement is, we're going to sign this final decree today at the end of the day, and we're going to be done with your divorce today. Done. Not this step done. I've had $50,000 worth of fighting over between we settled and we're done with the mediated settlement agreement, which is binding and you can't get out of, to figuring out what the final order is going to be. So do I have any stories about good mediations that have been miracles, saved the day, saved a lot of money? Let me tell you some results of it. I have been squeezed and hugged and like uncomfortably so by men and women too, like, just like, and you're like, and I'm like, okay, this is what I got to be. And I'm happily married. My wife understands this. I've had mediators come out and go, I can't believe how good that you did. Like oh my God, that was great. And the other side is happy. And like, how did you get something where everyone's happy? I've just had miraculous things coming out of mediation. It's great. I've also had that without even having to go to mediation. Mediation is not a first step. The things that you have to do before mediation are either going to lead to settlement or not. Mediation's like, well, we haven't gotten there. Let's go to mediation. Even a failed mediation, we learn something. It helps us prepare for trial. So I'll go to mediation, multiple days, especially for a high net worth. I'll go multiple days. By the time you hit about a fifth day, you're going to settle almost every case. But the vast majority of our cases settle in the very first day. I love doing mediation because the relief that's on someone, it's freedom for them, and it's great.